Hey, welcome back. This is the second video on my garage air adventures, so if you didn't see the first video, you might go check that out first. In this video, we attempt to get the garage air system to a happy middle ground. I don't have enough time right now to get it completely done, but I think we can get it to a better state than it's currently at. The hose reels are usable, but I have to manually connect it to the compressor each time with a quick coupler, and then I have to disconnect it whenever I want to use the airlocks, so it creates a tripping hazard and it's annoying, but it is functional. Here's a crappy hand-drawn simplified illustration of my current setup that I did on my iPad. It's just two hose reels joined together with a T-fitting, and then that runs down to the compressor and connected with a regular quick coupler. This works, but when I disconnect it, the line gives me a loud annoying blast of air rushing out, so I have to hold it tight, make sure it doesn't go flying. When I need to use the lift, I have to disconnect it and then manually attach it to the airlocks quick coupler. Here's what I'd like to accomplish today. I'll add a T in the line near the hose reels, run it to a regulator, and then down to the airlocks with another line or maybe a coil hose. I'll also rig up a manifold setup with a ball valve at each end so I can easily disconnect the compressor from the system without disconnecting the quick coupler each time. I'll also be able to open the other ball valve and bleed air out of the system, which will also help discharge and draw moisture out of the system since this will be at the lowest point. I'll route this air out through a silencer. I'm not sure how well it'll work, but I guess we'll find out soon. Had a thought. I was wondering if there'd be any benefit in adding a one-way check valve before the leg of the system that runs to the airlocks, and put in a T with a small auxiliary air tank, like one of those small aluminum ones that are, a gallon or even smaller. So even when the air system is off, I should technically be able to run the airlock several times using the residual air pressure in the auxiliary tank, which should be blocked off from backflowing into the rest of the system because of the check valve. To kind of test this theory out, I hooked the hose reel up to the compressor and then pulled it over to the airlocks and then connected it to the airlocks. So basically I'm using the hose reel to give air pressure to the airlocks. And then I closed the compressor off, so basically the only air pressure available to the airlocks is just the pressure that's already in the lines. And that was enough to actually actuate the airlocks like 10 plus times without a problem. So after doing that test, I went ahead and ordered a half-gallon aluminum air tank. That should be pretty easy to mount to the ceiling. And a cheap one-way check valve. I think it was a 1/4-inch one, NPT, and I think it was it was less than $20 on Amazon. I think it was probably half that. That'll be a future project in the coming weeks. I don't think I'll get to that soon. Anyway, time to get to work.
A few moments later.
Done. It's pretty quick and painless. I did end up doing it slightly differently though. The coil hose that I had was a little too short and it felt pretty stressed stretching it that far from the ceiling. So I decided to mount the regulator directly to the airlock actuator and then run a line straight up to the T with a ball valve between it. I use cable ties to help act as a strain relief and secure the regulator in place against a hydraulic pump bracket. The ball valve there is definitely needed because I noticed the button, the actuator button for the airlocks has a pretty quick leak, as you can hear in this clip. So according to BenPack, the airlocks like 75 to 90 psi and no more than 125 max. So I just set the regulator to 100 psi. I'll just turn the valve off whenever I'm done using it so the leak in the button doesn't cause extra duty cycles for the compressor. I'll probably dig into that and see if I can find where the leak is sometime in the future. As for the manifold, I did it the way I originally planned. A ball valve at each end, quick coupler to connect the leg that goes up to the hose reels and airlocks. The exhaust ball valve is one of the rapidair ones, so it's 3/8" MPT, and that screws straight into the manifold. The other one is one I picked up from Harbor Freight and it's 1/4" MPT, so I had to use a 1/4" to 3/8 adapter. The fittings for the rapidair garage kit goes from the tubing directly to 3/8" MPT, so to connect it to 1/4" stuff, you need adapters. I picked my adapters up at Harbor Freight and they were fairly affordable. I bought several sets. I'll still have to manually plug my compressor in and turn 2 ball valves to get everything going, but everything else is ready to go and I no longer have a tripping hazard. Hopefully I'll get to the automated stuff sometime this spring if all goes well, or sooner. In the next video, I'll add in the air filter and the outlet at the workbench level and possibly the regulated blowgun hanging from the ceiling from a hose coil right above the workbench. I'll also mount an outlet between the garage doors up front if I have enough tubing left to reach it. Since the kit includes 2 outlets, I figured I might as well use it. I'll probably also find a way to get the manifold mounted securely to the wall, since it's just kind of hanging there right now. I'm also thinking about upgrading my compressor to one from California Air Tools, as theirs are extremely quiet. Now the one I have is a Campbell Hausfeld. I think it has 6.5 CFM, which is just enough to do my impact wrench, but it's not quite enough to run the bridge jacks on my lift very well. I think they require like 20 CFM or something crazy, so definitely need an upgrade. Not completely sure I need it though, because I feel like it's a waste of money now to buy a compressor of that price and size, but we'll see. The automation stuff will probably come in a separate video after all of that. I hope that some people on the fence about running air through their garage get some useful information out of these videos to help make up their minds. But anyway, see you in the next video.